Concetta Principe. Yes, so a wonderful writer of creative nonfiction, interspersed with beautiful theory and beautiful academic theoretical work, and a wonderful poet. One of my favorite books of hers. I don't know if I should say oddly enough, but she doesn't have it here with her today, but I can highly recommend it. Perhaps you could tell in the title. It's about suicide, but I have to say, without triggering you, one of the most beautiful and moving way of talking about suicide. One of the essays about Kate Spade, who, as some of you know, it's a beautiful essay about Kate Spade, Scarf, and of course, Kate Spade took her own life, sadly. So big round of applause on that happy note. A big round of applause for Concetta.
Thank you for all of that laughter, comedic play. Stars Need Counting is the name of the book that you were referencing. So I'm number 3 because I'm not funny. Yeah, I tend to be serious. I'll be reading from my latest collection titled Disorder. The collection came together only after I had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. It was not a shock to be diagnosed this. It was actually a relief. It explained so many years of so many strange symptoms that no one seemed to have figured out. But the poems I've been writing for a while, but after the diagnosis I could see how the collection kind of just described what it was like to live with borderline personality disorder. It's much more common than you would expect, and it's a condition that basically describes someone who, well, people with anorexia tend to be borderline, and people who have problems with boundaries, and that's either overdoing it by being overly dramatic or not doing it big enough, and self-erasing. I tend to be the self-erasing type, which is why I hate being up in front of people. But I am so happy to have a chance to share my work. Sad thighs. Like Emily, who bound her disorder to her last reclusive poet years, wearing walls of her room as a plaster hijab. Anachronistically applied here, she veils herself with brick and mortar on foundations that weep. Cries, if you don't desert me, to herself she cries at the atom of history, cries a 4-year-old girl on the street, fumbling after mom striding away. Cry the flowers. Eyeing pairs on the dance floor, the widening of their wild, the shaming of their sidelong glances at her hanging at the wall, stuck with a pin of paranoia. Why is it so easy for them? Mitigating grief by taking a jackhammer to the bad cracks. This is her rage shining through the windows, cutting the meat, for the cat looking for a way out. She is saddled with internal umwelt, the flea, its soul she can't shake, scratching at depression, lice across her anxiety. It all looks the same. This home that never had her back anyway, forget room for what she was. Symptom of what is nowhere near yard enough, nor deep enough, no sky thunder enough, no alley kind enough, no tree tender enough, in a neighborhood unzoned for her monstrous, sad thighs. There are two poems about anorexia. I'll read one now. I might read the other one later. The Anorexic. Starch the steak, pepper the park before you plate my daughter's footwear. Fluvog never tasted as good as those wedding bolognese. Rutty candy wrapped in ribbon tied, with thanks for your money, put on your gold shoes. Hour the minutes, then splice each second thin enough to paper cut your hand. 5 seconds is all you need. So I'll read from the personal essay at the end, just to give some context. Before that, I'll read the poem. BPD, that's short for borderline personality disorder, a preface to a portrait. I am the invisible cloak, which is why no one will take me from me, not being able to see what I am. I am human, passing as this tacky swatch of fur, so shag purple I can't fall, and when I tumble from my post on the wall, someone hung me here for a joke. I make a sound of crashing the invisible cloak against my arm, thwack, to pronounce my absence. I admit I was once human, passing for who I am. Portraits of a high-functioning borderline personality disorder. Because, as she will have explained to the CAMH psychiatrist when the diagnosis session begins, she knows she has a disorder. When she's given the reins and the future is hers, she loses her grip. It's a physical feeling of psychic weakness, a kind of carpal tunnel syndrome of will. Her nerves feel cut off, so she can't hold on. So she spins away in the 2001 universe. But then there looms another chance at Jupiter in the void, and she leaps. In short, she has spent her life recursively leaping from one silent opportunity of unearthly proportions to another, trying not to get caught by entropy, trying but failing to find her proper orbit, holding tight until the psychic syndrome unable to regain. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, is what you make when you're too young to know anything different.
Minutes. You can throw if you feel comfortable.
Borders, BPD. The psychic house without borders, forget defining them as good and bad. Or perhaps those borders are red lines that get crossed again and again, back and forth, so that in the end all that's left is an ugly maroon stain of Raggedy Ann executions. A kind of cutting away, you see, at the things she loves. One symptom of BPD that is most shameful is rage, and that expresses itself in different ways. And of course, the executed Raggedy Ann doll is an example. She says "fuck you" to the psychiatric community, and not just because her mother was a psychiatric social worker, who of all people would have recognized her behavior as symptoms of the condition. Can't blame her mother though, since not one of the countless psychiatric professionals has reached out across this abyss, separating her from the world to say, this is who you are, let me help you live with it. Instead, she did as all undiagnosed people do. Self-medicate, self-regulate, self-loathe, and for the most part, fake being normal. And she found a thing to hold on to for dear life. That thing was her desk. In metaphorical terms, in literal terms, it was writing. In 2 weeks, a psychiatrist will put her under the analysan microscope, prodding her with the questions that will explain her bad self-image, her failures, her fear of attachment, which is understood as abandonment, even after 23 years of marriage, her failure to bond with others, or her faulty judgment in impulsive action, her inner bleak darkness that no one should see because how could one live with it? Her self-harm and her not eating, her inconsistency shifting from depressed to sometimes functioning, which is she, a mad person or neurotic. Wild is that the psychiatrist will laugh at her joke, Cam H is a joke, as if he is not surprised by that her humor cuts the loaf to the sour truth, as if knowing full well that humor is not necessarily a sign of health. Her carpal tunnel syndrome of will, her border crossing. She went to almost every school in the city, breaking boundaries of public school clichés. She got along with classmates well enough, but nothing gelled. Rarely after school time. All her drama played out in the privacy of her mind. Couldn't be sure she was saying what she meant. She couldn't reach out, she dissociated. Not finding the attention she needed, she leapt into another school district. Maybe that's why she never held on, or you might say they let go. Her first experiences of floating off, a body in 2001, spinning from universe to universe, in fundamental terms, comparatively friendless. But to be fair, she has friends today whom she loves, and they are friends because they stick around and agree to live by her rules, which are never explicitly defined. She loves them and thinks about them, but just doesn't reach out. She is a passive entity responding to goodwill, but short of being brushed off, she initiates little. This weekend, someone sent me an email thanking me for the poetry in this book, and then commented on one poem in particular, which is about a dear friend, a mutual friend, who died of cancer. It's now been 4 years, and so I dedicate this poem to her. Andrew Moody. Was there, over 30 years ago, was there ever anything other than sitting on that patio in your summer dress trying to finish the screenplay? Even then, was a season ever worn through? Was there a reason to eat eggs instead? Over easy, please. Was there skin before this tarnished silver, delicate as rice paper? Our writing. What about coffee? Was there another chance to start that memoir? If there was a chance to write this, was there everything necessary in these 30 years? Long drinking through short nights till dawn and crashing. There was a promise and many promises. There was the memoir, not yet written. There was never a draft, more eggs over easy, but there was vision. Was there a way to write it before the end? You wanted to give hope by writing after cancer. Was there a more compelling reason to wait? Your chapped lips, water, was there ever a chance to start? 30 years ago, there was never a question. Just Doonies, coffee, dreams still fresh, and a new project to finish. Was there a day without cancer? Yes, you say in my head, yes. Every woman was there, sad and unfinished things of 30 years. And I am harping on your unmade memoir, the painting I made you. Hold it till I'm back. Will you come back? I hear your regrets. I want you here writing. Was there a chance? God damn it, was there ever a chance to write before the end? I'm going to read one more poem, and this is, okay, another heavy one. As the anniversary of what's happening in Gaza approaches, I'd like to read this poem primarily for hope. It's titled Goliath Bandura, which is a dish made with onion and tomatoes, a Palestinian dish. As war rages, I learn Arabic. Words like basil, onion, and bandura, tomato, and Goliath bandura. Mai for water, and terms like kanabaya, sofa, and kursi, chair. Shobak, window. Daija, stairs, and latahet, going down. And taxi, and Sierra, car. Andy, I have. The roads of mud, bank. Rubble, white plastic, kursi. Maglube, upside down by bombs, impossible for aid. I learn, Mafi, nothing left in Gaza. I pray one day I will visit the beautiful city by the Mediterranean and be offered a seat, some Galite Bandura, and when I am full, they will smile, say Sahtain, and I will understand that we are forgiven. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Concetta.